Rule number 2, separate work from sanctuary. When you're working from home, it is really easy for your work to spill into your downtime. For example, as I mentioned before, when I originally worked from home, I worked at the kitchen table. And as a run-on effect, I would often find myself getting ideas for work or generally thinking about work or just talking about work whenever I ate a meal at that same table. This may feel productive for a short period of time, but after a while, it means that you are always switched on and always tense. And this has a really detrimental effect on your home life and also on your work performance. It's much harder to compartmentalize work when you live and work in the same space. So we have to be really diligent when it comes to separating the two. This rule, of course, links directly back to my first rule, which is that being strict with your work hours is really important. But on top of that, it highlights that we need to think about physical separation and also mental separation when it comes to carving out a sanctuary at home. So here are some really easy steps to follow. The first, avoid working from your bed at all costs. Your bed needs to remain a safe sanctuary for stress-free sleep. And ideally avoid working from your bedroom if you can. If your house allows for it, set up a room or a corner of a room that you can call your workspace. If not, make sure that you deconstruct your work area every single night. So for example, if you work at your dining room table, as soon as your workday ends, pack everything up. And pack it up properly. You know, if you have a work laptop, this involves not just closing it, but taking it off the table and ideally putting it into a designated spot, like into a work briefcase or into a storage box so that it is totally out of sight. Next up, turn off your email notifications outside business hours. This was a game changer for me. Because you work with colleagues, or you may work with colleagues in other time zones and colleagues who are working other shifts or just have different business hours, it wouldn't be uncommon for most of us to get emails or messages from them outside of your own office hours. Well, now that you're working from home, it's really important that your home space feels free from work outside of work hours. So for me, I actually turned off my email notifications permanently, meaning even in business hours, I only get email notifications if I'm physically at my computer working or have actively chosen to open my email inbox on my phone to check. Now, this isn't practical for everyone, but you can at least limit your notifications for business hours during the day. And finally, take advantage of the perks of working from home. There are lots of life admin things you can do while working from home without interrupting your workflow, like baking and laundry. Thank you for joining me. That was my second rule out of my 10 rules for successful remote working. I hope you found the practical steps useful. And if you have any questions or questions about working remotely, please don't hesitate to reach out on LinkedIn, Instagram, or via my website, aligreen.business. Thank you so much.